Please explain in detail about AP psychology on the following 16 theories. 1. Weber's law, just noticeable difference. Weber's law states that the smallest change in a stimulus that can be perceived is proportional to the initial intensity of the stimulus. The just noticeable difference, J&D, is the smallest detectable difference between two stimuli, and is relative to the intensity of the initial stimulus. 2. Young-Helmholtz color theory, trichromatic theory. This theory proposes that the human eye has 3 types of color receptors, or cones, which are sensitive to different ranges of wavelengths corresponding to red, green, and blue light. Color perception is determined by the relative activity in these 3 types of cones. 3. Opponent process color theory. This theory suggests that color information is organized into 3 antagonistic pairs: red versus green, blue versus yellow, and black versus white. The opponent cells are excited by one color and inhibited by the other, creating a balance in color perception. 4. Place theory. This theory proposes that pitch perception is based on the location of maximal vibration on the basilar membrane within the inner ear. Different frequencies of sound waves activate different regions of the membrane, allowing us to perceive different pitches. 5. Frequency theory. This theory posits that pitch perception is related to the frequency of sound waves and the frequency of neuron firing in the auditory nerve. The frequency of the sound wave determines the rate at which neurons fire, allowing us to distinguish between different pitches. 6. Facial feedback hypothesis. According to this hypothesis, sensations from facial expressions provide cues to the brain, which help us determine what emotion we are feeling. Emotions can be influenced by our facial expressions, and awareness of these expressions can help us identify our emotions more accurately. 7. Statistical significance. A result is statistically significant if the probability of the observed result occurring by chance is less than 5%, p less than 0.05. This threshold is used to determine whether an effect is likely to be genuine or due to random chance. 8. Template matching theory. This theory proposes that we recognize objects by comparing incoming sensory information to stored mental templates or copies of objects. Recognition occurs when a match is found between the incoming information and a stored template. 9. Prototype matching theory. This theory suggests that recognition involves comparing sensory input to a mental prototype or an average representation of an object or pattern. The prototype is a flexible, generalized representation that captures the essential features of an object or pattern. 10. Feature analysis theory. According to this theory, patterns are represented and recognized by distinctive features, such as lines, angles, and curves. Recognition occurs when the brain detects these features in the sensory input and matches them to stored representations. 11. Restorative theory. This theory posits that we sleep to replenish and repair the body and mind, restoring depleted resources and allowing for growth and healing. 12. Adaptive non-responding theory. This theory suggests that sleep and inactivity have survival value, as they conserve energy and protect organisms from potential dangers during periods of vulnerability. 13. Activation synthesis hypothesis. This hypothesis proposes that dreams are products of spontaneous neural activity, particularly in the brainstem. Dream content is generated by the brain's attempt to make sense of this random neural activity. 14. Thorndike's law of effect. This principle states that behaviors followed by rewards are more likely to be repeated, while behaviors followed by punishment are less likely to be repeated. 15. Premac principle. The Premac principle states that any high probability behavior can be used as a reward for any lower probability behavior. In other words, preferred activities can be used to reinforce less preferred ones. 16. Erikson's psychosocial development. Erikson proposed 8 stages of psychosocial development, each characterized by a conflict or crisis. The stages are A. Trust versus mistrust, B. Autonomy versus shame and doubt, C. Initiative versus guilt, D. Industry versus inferiority, E. Identity versus role confusion, F. Intimacy versus isolation, G. Generativity versus stagnation, and H. Ego integrity versus despair. Each stage presents unique challenges, and successful resolution of each conflict contributes to the development of a healthy personality and sense of self.